Hello friends, it's 7:30 p.m. and you are tuned to the General Overseas Service of All India Radio, the voice of the nation. We are here with news, views, celebrity endorsements, write-ups, videos, vox pop, tips of the day and music for your listening pleasure. So happy tuning in.
This is the General Overseas Service of All India Radio. Namaskar. The News Snippets. Read by Maria Albina Michael. 321,723 people have recovered from COVID-19 in India. In the past 24 hours, 12,009 patients recovered. The recovery rate is almost 59%. 170,560 tests were conducted for COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. Home Minister Amit Shah has said that the country's response to the COVID-19 pandemic is showing positive results. Mr. Shah said that India's recovery rate is one of the best in the world and is more than many countries that have better health facilities. Union Minister said that the availability of beds for COVID-19 patients have been increased. The cost of treatment has also been fixed. He said that more tests are being done in the national capital and mapping is being done in Delhi's containment zones. The Home Minister said that while the country is in the midst of the pandemic and the nation is also seeing aggression in the neighborhood, some people are resorting to petty politics. Mr. Shah said government is ready to debate on any issue in Parliament. The government has cancelled the tender of a mega bridge project over the Ganga to be constructed in Bihar. 2 of the 4 contractors were Chinese firms. Manipur, Maharashtra and Telangana have extended the lockdown. Manipur and Telangana have extended it till 15th July. Maharashtra has extended the lockdown till 31st July. Lockdown could be reimposed in Greater Hyderabad as positive cases have been rising. The state government is holding high-level discussions on the issue. The Nepal government of KP Sharma Oli is facing an internal crisis. Differences between Mr. Oli and former Prime Minister Prachanda are said to have risen over Mr. Oli's style of functioning. The Karachi Stock Exchange was attacked allegedly by Baloch Liberation Army. 4 gunmen have been killed. Several people are also reportedly killed. Many were injured in the attack. And that is the end of the news snippets.
Hello, today I'd like to talk to you about how to wear a non-medical mask, also known as fabric mask. Fabric masks can be used by the general public in areas where there are many people infected with COVID-19 in the community and physical distancing of at least 1 meter cannot be achieved. There are a wide variety of fabric masks that can be handmade or purchased in a store. They act as a barrier so that you can protect those around you. They should ideally be made of 3 layers of fabric. The outer layer should be a water-resistant fabric. The inner layer should be water-absorbent, and the mid-layer acts as a filter. First, clean your hands with alcohol-based hand rub or soap and water. Pick up your clean mask and inspect it. If it is damaged or dirty, do not wear it. Place the mask on your face, covering your nose, mouth, and chin, making sure there are no gaps between your face and the mask. Do not touch the mask while wearing it to avoid contamination. If you accidentally do, clean your hands. Before touching the mask, clean your hands with alcohol-based hand rub or soap and water. As you remove the mask, lean forward slightly and remove the loops from behind the ears without touching the front of the mask. And don't forget, wash your hands after taking off the mask. Make sure that you have your own mask and do not share it with anyone. If your fabric mask is not soiled or wet and you need to reuse it, you can store it in a clean plastic resealable bag such as this one. However, if it is dirty, do not use it. Wash it with soap and water, preferably at high temperatures after each day of use. Remember, a mask alone cannot protect you from COVID-19. It must be combined with protective measures, including maintaining at least 1 meter distance from others and washing your hands frequently. Stay safe and help prevent the spread of COVID-19.
Rohit Chaudhary says Big Boss crossing NS 37 in Burapahar area of Kaziranga. Avoid honking in the corridors and allow the wildlife to cross the highway peacefully.
Sandra Kiley is an animal rights activist from New Zealand and is also the owner of End Animal Slaughter website, which she started in 2018 with the goal of closing all slaughterhouses in the Western world by 2025. Today, Sandra Kiley shares with us an article on arguments for eating meat debunked. Millions of people all over the world are cutting back on meat or giving it up altogether. This is because of compelling evidence that plant-based is the best diet and that overconsumption of meat and dairy leads to disease, pollution, deforestation, biodiversity loss, and global warming. The animal agriculture sector is trying to fight back against the trend to veganism with counter-arguments which Guardian Environment editor Damien Carrington debunks. Whether you're concerned about your health, the environment, or animal welfare, scientific evidence is piling up that meat-free diets are best. Millions of people in wealthy nations are already cutting back on animal products. Of course, livestock farmers and meat lovers are unsurprisingly fighting back, and it can get confusing. Are avocados really worse than beef? What about bee massacring and almond production? The coronavirus pandemic has added another ingredient to that mix. The rampant destruction of the natural world is seen as the root cause of diseases, leaping into humans, and is largely driven by farming expansion. The world's top biodiversity scientists say even more deadly pandemics will follow unless the ecological devastation is rapidly halted. Food is also a vital part of our culture. while the affordability of food is an issue of social justice. So there isn't a single perfect diet. But the evidence is clear. Whichever healthy and sustainable diet you choose, it is going to have much less red meat and dairy than today's standard Western diets, and quite possibly none. That's for two basic reasons. First, the overconsumption of meat is causing an epidemic of disease. With about $285 billion spent every year around the world treating illness caused by eating red meat alone. Second, eating plants is simply a far more efficient use of the planet's stretched resources than feeding the plants to animals and then eating them. The global livestock herd and the grain it consumes takes up 83% of global farmland, but produces just 18% of food calories. So what about all those arguments in favor of meat eating and against vegan diets? The sixth claim: we need animals to convert feed into protein humans can eat. There is no lack of protein despite the claims. In rich nations, people commonly eat 30 to 50% more protein than they need. All protein needs can easily be met from plant-based sources such as beans, lentils, nuts, and whole grains. But animals can play a role in some parts of Africa and Asia, where, in India, for example, waste from grain production can feed cattle that produce milk. In the rest of the world, where much of cropland that could be used to feed people is actually used to feed animals, a cut in meat eating is still needed for agriculture to be sustainable. The seventh claim: what about soya milk and tofu that is destroying the Amazon? It's not. Well, over 96% of soy from the Amazon region is fed to cows, pigs, and chickens eaten around the world, according to data from the UN Food and Agriculture Organization, says POR. Furthermore, 97% of Brazilian soy is genetically modified, which is banned for human consumption in many countries and is rarely used to make tofu and soya milk in any case. Soya milk also has much smaller emissions and land and water use than cow's milk. If you're worried about the Amazon, not eating meat remains your best bet. The eighth claim: almond milk production is massacring bees and turning land into desert. Some almond production may well cause environmental problems, but that is because rising demand has driven rapid intensification in specific places like California, which could be addressed with proper regulation. It is nothing to do with what almonds need to grow. Traditional almond production in southern Europe uses no irrigation at all. It is also perhaps worth noting that the bees that die in California are not wild, but raised by farmers like six-legged livestock. Like soya milk, almond milk still has lower carbon emissions and land and water use than cow's milk. But if you are still worried, there are plenty of alternatives, with oat milk usually coming out with the lowest environmental footprint. You were listening to Sandra Kiley, an animal rights activist from New Zealand, sharing an article by Damien Carrington on arguments for eating meat debunked.
Hello everyone, my name is Shaheen. I'm in class 12th of Queen Mary's School. I made something creative in this quiet time. Let's see what I made. I made this torch with the help of empty bottle caps, ice cream stick, switch button and the old torch. In the old torch, take out the wires and attach with this switch inside, and this ice cream stick attached with the upper bottle cap and the bottom of bottle cap, and this ice cream sticks decorate with the color pens and color it. This is too easy to make it. Thank you.
You are with ethos on the General Overseas Service of All India Radio. We now bring you today's commentary. Prime Minister says self-reliance is the way forward. It is scripted by Padam Singh, AIR news analyst, and read by Kaushik Rai. Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his monthly Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio said, Mann Ki Baat has now attained the halfway mark in its journey for the year 2020. During this period, naturally, most of the issues in the broadcast revolved around the global pandemic, the calamity that confronted the human race. But now the endless topic of discussion among people is, when will this year go by? People just want the year to be over one way or the other, the Prime Minister said. Just 6-7 months ago, we knew little about the catastrophe that Corona is, nor had one expected the fight to go on this long. As if one calamity weren't enough, the country has had to face an unending slew of challenges day after day. Our east coast had to face the fury of the cyclone Amphan. On the west coast, it was cyclone Nisarga. In many states, our farmers had to bear the brunt of swarming locusts. Many parts of the country have been witnessing intermittent earthquakes. Amidst all these, the country has had to deal with the designs of some of our neighbors. We have come to a stage where people are linking even minor incidents to these challenges. Mr. Modi said, adversities and calamities do descend upon us, but historically, India has always emerged brighter and stronger, ensuring victory over all kinds of disasters and challenges. For centuries, many tyrants invaded India, pushing her to the edge of such an abyss of adversities, and people once used to feel that the very idea, the fabric of Bharat would be wiped out, her culture would be annihilated. But India overcame these scourges, and gloriously so. Indians are familiar with our adage, creation is permanent, creation is continuous. The Prime Minister said, irrespective of the magnitude of the calamity confronting us, India's sanskar, way of life, inspires one and all to serve selflessly. India extended a helping hand to the world during difficult times. It has reinforced India's role in ushering in peace and development. The world also noticed India's commitment and might when it comes to safeguarding her sovereignty and territorial integrity. Those who cast an evil eye on Indian soil in Ladakh have got a befitting response. India honors the spirit of friendship, but she is also capable of giving an appropriate response to any adversary without shying away. Our brave soldiers have proven that they will not let anyone cast an evil eye on the glory and honor of Mother India. Mr. Modi said, the entire country came together in paying tributes to the bravery of our Jawans who attained martyrdom in Ladakh. The entire country bows to them in reverence and gratitude. The resolve with which our Jawans made the supreme sacrifice for the security of Mother India should be the aim of our lives. We all should strive towards enhancing the country's capabilities in safeguarding our borders. A self-reliant India would be a tribute to our martyrs in the truest, deepest sense. Before independence, in the realm of the defense sector, our country was ahead of many countries in the world. Many countries that lagged behind us then are ahead of us now. After independence, we should have made efforts in the defense sector, taking advantage of our prior experience. We did not. But today, in the field of defense technology, India is relentlessly endeavoring to advance on these fronts. India is taking strides towards self-reliance, the Prime Minister said. No mission can be successfully achieved without people's participation, observed Prime Minister Modi. On the path towards a self-reliant India, as citizens, our collective resolve, commitment and support is necessary, rather imperative. When we buy local, become vocal for local, we play a role in strengthening the country. The country has moved out of the lockdown phase to the unlock phase. During the unlock period, we need to focus deeply on 2 points, defeating Corona and bolstering the economy. We have to stay more vigilant compared to the lockdown period. Only our alertness can save us from Corona. We all should wear a mask, observe the 2-yard social distancing norms and take other precautions. Prime Minister urged all countrymen not to be negligent and to take care of themselves and others too. That was today's commentary. Prime Minister says self-reliance is the way forward. It was scripted by Padam Singh, AIR news analyst, and read by Kaushik Rai. This broadcast came to you from the General Overseas Service of All India Radio.
And now let's have a look at another super interesting sequence of female movements by Guru Janmejoy Sai Babu. India and the Spanish speaking diplomacy, organized by Instituto Cervantes New Delhi in collaboration with the participating embassies. Today, we present a talk by His Excellency Mr. Alvaro A. Malmarica, Ambassador of Uruguay to India during COVID times.
Uruguay and India have created a solid and close relationship for decades. Uruguay was one of the first states to join the process of recognition of India's independence. Diplomatic relations were established from that moment, but only some years later, Uruguay opened the embassy in Delhi, and India announced the country would open an embassy in Montevideo soon. Now, with this situation that we are suffering, it's difficult to maintain many plans and deadlines that could have been established. However, we believe that India maintains its intention to open an embassy in Montevideo, since it would be in the interest of both parties, would be the logical consequence of the good evolution of our relations and taking into account the interest expressed by India in Latin America in general. It should be noted that Tata has chosen Uruguay many years ago to install its operational center for South America. Is placed in Uruguay. Then Tata operates all the region, but from Uruguay. That is characteristic of Uruguay. The legal certainty, the country's strategic position, as you know, in the middle of the Mercosur, and also for the high standards of efficiency and excellence in services and standard of living. Indeed, Tata presence in Uruguay actually has been growing and expanding. I think it was logical and expected that when hearing great talents, Tata paid a particular attention and priority to the Uruguayan talent. In this sense, it should be noted that Uruguay has always stood out for the high level of its architecture, and throughout history has given many brilliant architects of great international prestige. Just to mention a few names, and the list could be very long, we could mention, by example, Mauricio Cravotto. Eladio Dieste developed a new architectural system that permits to construct these great structures as shopping centers and supermarkets without column in the middle. Julio Vilamajo is one of the 5 architects, the international architects, that built the United Nations building in New York. Rafael Vignoli, maybe you know him. He's a very iconic architect that is also Uruguayan. He did some very prestigious buildings in Tokyo, in London. He was also one of the finalists for the project in the Ground Zero in Manhattan. Then there is an experience and there is very, very famous names. In this case, obviously, the Carlos Sot is also one of the most famous architects. He designed and built the building of l'Opéra de la Bastille in Paris. Okay. And many other iconic buildings around the world. Among these buildings, we must include, without a doubt, the building that you mentioned in Chennai. I think, I claim coincidence with you, I think it is a fine example of construction at the service, in this case, of technology and research, but keeping in mind the beauty and harmony that every architectural work must have. There is, for example, a curiosity. Uruguay, Montevideo especially, has the most important, I don't know if defined as collection of buildings of Art Deco. We have a lot of great projects. It's a beautiful city. Uruguay is a small country between 2 giants. And especially our population is only 3.5 million people. Then it's a small country, not in territorial terms, but yes, in terms of inhabitants. But Uruguay is very known in the world. The question is maybe that the Indian people, if they have the curiosity to research about Uruguay, it's possible to enter in the internet and everything is there. We have a very good relationship with India. We act together in some organisms in the world and with diverse schedules of items in the agenda, in the international agenda. We have a lot of coincidence. Then we have a very good relationship, and Uruguay is every country is a special country. Uruguay has determined characteristics, and one of them is stability, social, then the security of the law, and in terms of good life, good weather, everything is nice in Uruguay. It's not because it's my country.
No, we know.
But
Uruguay has this reputation. That's really Punta del Este. We have so many beautiful places there.
For this reason, our neighbors every year come to Uruguay for tourism and for visit. When the people from Buenos Aires want to breathe some calm and peace, come to Montevideo. When we want some movement, we go to Buenos Aires. We are very close as in every aspect.
Yeah, you just crossed that big river to go to Buenos Aires, I think, no?
It's very easy today because there is a boat that in 2 hours and a half you are from Montevideo, from the center of Montevideo to the center of Buenos Aires.
To Buenos Aires. And yes. It's easy to cross the border, or there are a lot of controls, or it's more like...
No, well, no, in this right moment,
well, now of course
the borders are closed. But in normal terms, we are part of the Mercosur. We have an agreement with Argentina and Brazil from many years ago, but we are all part of the Mercosur. Then our passport said passport of Mercosur. And also, we don't need a passport to go to Argentina, to Paraguay, to Brazil. It's only with an ID. There exists a tourist from Uruguay to India. A few of people have a real interest in the Indian culture, to know all the heritage sites that are in India, and also the practice of the yoga that is now in the entire world. This attracts also many Uruguayans to India. Then this part is okay, it's not a problem. The question is for Indian to include Uruguay as a part of when they made a tour in the region that include Brazil, maybe Argentina, and also the Paraguay. There is some natural attraction. The question is to incorporate in the tour also Uruguay. In this regard, I would say that I don't know any Indian who has visited Uruguay and was not pleasantly surprised and eager to return. I think the Indians, like everyone in Uruguay, the natural beauties, the high level of life, gastronomy, the good taste in general, and even as you point, the sophistication that flow from places like Punta del Este. Punta del Este is considered one of the most important tourist centers visited by the elites of the entire world.
Yes, we know. A lot of Spaniards go there and famous.
Yes, and we have a very good infrastructure in matter of tourism. But what most highlight the Indian visitors is the friendliness of the people. the courtesy, the good manners, how well everybody is treated and feels in Uruguay. And also attracts the attention of the Indian, the large open spaces, the low population density, the absence of a traffic jam in the urban traffic. Yes, it's something exotic for them because it's completely different. In Uruguay, you can go to the countryside and walk, and never found another person. It's logic because we think we have a density really ridiculous in quantity of inhabitants per kilometer. The question of this statistic, I don't know exactly, but it's a very low density in matter of. But our the beauty of the natural beach, the countryside, the culture of the gaucho,
yes,
all that is legendary.
yes,
that we share that with other countries in the area. Obviously,
yes.
we share that with Argentina.
Brazil.
In the south of Brazil, they have the gaucho, but it's the same culture. We have the same habits and
Drinking
folkloric
mate.
songs, and then could be a very nice experience for Indian people to visit too.
And now we have for you a melodious presentation by Sargam of the song Chura Liya Hai Jo Tumne on the mouth organ.